And 1, 2, 3. Okay, there we go. Good morning and a happy Saturday. We're doing our Celtic Iron core conditioning this morning. It is a Saturday, old, blessed, and beautiful. Coming to you live, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Laguna Gardens, the 6th floor, California, United States of America. I'm unaware of what's going on in the football community and all that jazz. But anything you put in the comments, I will check out later. Thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing. And let's get to warming up and working out. I'm going to put on some music now, a little bit of techno. That's what I like to do. My Irish sensibilities. So, yeah, enjoy the show. Here we go. Making my way back to you, babe. In the early morning time. Start the workout on the Apple Watch. Thanks very much, Steve Jobs. God bless you. Here we go. I just feel. Right, I've been restricted here. We always get restricted. That's okay. Wow. Okay, cool. Wow. Alright. Come on now. Yes. Quite right. Quite right. Boy. Hey. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hello. All right. Okay. I feel like. Thank you so much. That was magnificent. I really enjoyed that head banging mix. We're now going to move into the yoga portion of the class. So that's the light. And what have we got here? Ooh, this is all rather hard hitting techno, I see. Where is the Fugazi? That would get copyright stricken pretty quickly, right? That's Warner Brothers music right there. That's Warner Brothers. That's Columbia. That's Sony. Oh my God. This is
also be an education if it doesn't get copyright stricken. All right, here we go. Wow. Okay. I'm not going to do the entire Fugazi album, thank you. We will, however, do something a little bit more inspirational. Oh, goodness gracious me. Oh, my Lord. Clear? Let's clear. That's just the quickest button to press, right? Where is it? Oh, I can't find him. Guy Ritchie and Joe Rogan. What can you do? You know what I mean? It's a good podcast. Swear to God, you just can't get the staff. You just can't get the staff in this life. Guy Ritchie, Joe Rogan. Here we go.
Hello, freak bitches.
See that?
I'm getting fascinated by the way your brain works, because for you, it's important that the person want to wear the suit. And I have a feeling that that's symbolic of how you feel about life.
This is a 14-minute version. We want the full version, please, Joe. Thank you. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Now, back to our usual programming.
Yes.
Oh, has everyone seen? I had a new film come out today. I had a new movie, a new picture film come out. I released it on 3 different platforms. It's myself and Whitney LC live in Las Vegas, having a good old time on a Sunday morning, you know? But yeah, you like me here, you love me everywhere else. Check out my Linktree and all my other platforms. And here we are, returning to our usual programming. Friends of the show, thank you for subscribing, thank you for following, genuflecting, and joining me here while we stretch for the following 30 minutes, okay? Up.
Oh, a little pocket hanky there.
Look at the whole deal. Well, I tell you why I wear a pocket square is because if you don't wear a pocket square, you have the appearance that you've been squeezed into a sports jacket or a suit for conventional reasons, that your mum put you in there, or you're off to church or something, or you're going to the office.
Right.
As soon as you put a pocket square in there, you own the jacket. It's your idea, not someone else's idea.
Ooh, dude, you're thinking several steps ahead. I like it.
We're going to get into this, aren't we, Jack?
We are going to get into this. Well, we were talking before the podcast about these press junkets and about how you entertain yourself by forcing yourself to use a certain word.
Yeah, the danger, the worst thing in the film business is press junkets, and as you were saying, they're rather ineffective, and that's my suspicion too. They're also inefficient and ineffective because you sit in a chair, someone comes in, and they ask you a question, how good an actor is David Beckham when he's in an underpants or whatever it is, and you answer it in some facile fashion, and on the fourth time you answer that question, you're starting to swap flies that aren't there. You're starting to go mad. So what happens is you have to play games with yourself. So you get someone on the side to throw different words at you, like valetudinarian or verisimilitude. And then that keeps you occupied because you're thinking, when someone asks me about Beckham in his underpants, I've somehow got to stick in a verisimilitude. And I say it's not easy. And your answers become very creative.
Well, to ask someone to be sincere and ask the same questions over and over and over again to them, like to have people keep filing in, and a new person comes in and asks and says, so tell us about this film, and how did this get started? And so whose idea was it?
So I saw a film, John Wall made Excalibur in 1980, and I was an impressionable young man of 10, and it was the first knights in shining armor film that ever spoke to me. I wasn't particularly interested in Errol Flynn or any incarnation that they did in the 50s in this genre. But John Wall's one was rather good. It's very aggressive, and no one spoke to one another. They all shouted at one another. So it took some time before you realised that's why it was so intense. It's quite camp. So it had this sort of weird juxtaposition of being camp, yet simultaneously aggressive. And it had a budget of $25 and no visual effects and lots of very shiny 19th century armor. And it made a real impression on me because it was a voice. It was a creative voice. So it made an impression on me. And then somewhere in the attic of my mind, I relegated it to the point where I had enough creative ideas in my reservoir to bring it forward and make a film, and then someone gave me money and Warner Brothers wanted to make it, and yada, yada, yada. And then it was the challenge, I suppose, of trying to take a sojourn into this world, the fantasy, epic fantasy, medievally, Lord of the Ringsy kind of a world. And it's completely out of my wheelhouse. So I find the challenge provocative and exciting as well.
It's a fascinating era, or a genre, the fascinating world of the fantasy, knights and swords and bows and arrows, and that realm, for whatever reason, has been intoxicating to people for a long time.
It's an archetype. So you're interested in firemen, you're interested in nurses, you're interested in the superheroes, obviously. I mean, arguably Arthur was the first superhero because he's the guy that extracts the sword and his Gallagher can do all sorts of wondrous things. This myth is 1,200 years old, 1,400 years old, and it's as relevant today as it was then. But because it's an archetype, that somehow kids either dress up as firemen, policemen, soldiers, or knights. So it's almost like we relived it. It's like an outfit that we wore 1,200 years ago, so you feel familiar in it.
Mm. It's fascinating that one genre, that one sort of archetype is just locked into the psyche of people.
Yeah, it's there, isn't it? The other thing about it, which is quite fun, is you can take these kind of mystical rides into metaphor. So you can symbolize things with 300-foot elephants, which you can't do in some version of a realistic world. So it becomes, you have broad poetic license to take liberties.
Are you using CGI in this movie?
A lot of it.
Yeah. Wow. What's that like?
Boring but creative. It's 3 years.
Ay, Dios mío.
Used to making movies that take
Ay, Dios
3
mío.
months to write.
3 years.
3 years.
Wow.
3 months to write from beginning to end. Something like Snatch was 3 months, 6 weeks to shoot, 2 months to edit.
So Snatch was 3 months to do the whole thing, or to write it?
To write it and to shoot it.
The whole thing, from the beginning to the way.
Beginning to the end was 6 months.
Oh wow.
And then 3 months, say, for editing. So you're wrapped and packed in 9 months, 10 months.
So this is a totally different kind of commitment, as
Yeah.
far as your mind and.
Yeah, if I really knew what I was getting into, I would have asked for double bubble on the salary. Because you thought things could be a year and a half. It's not. It's 3 years.
Like when you plan a movie like this, a big epic movie, do you have an actual schedule of when you think it's going to begin and when it's going to end, or do?
You do, but the terrain of filmmaking has changed exponentially, like everything, like with technology. So what was pertinent last year is not pertinent this year. So release dates are a real dog. So we had a release date which was projected a couple of years from when you start movies. Okay, right, here's a check, make a movie. You're coming out in, we were supposed to come out exactly a year ago. But then what happens is if you're not a branded movie, you get elbowed off that day in Star Wars or something come along, and then you're not going to compete with Star Wars. So you've got to move, because you can't compete. So you've got a very crowded market with lots of brands. And this isn't something that we used to suffer, because everyone was equal going into the equation. You give yourself the advantage of having a movie star or something, but that doesn't exist anymore. What exists now is the brand, is the big brother. So he comes muscling in, bullies his way into a weekend, and that's what you can't really get new films breaking through, because those weekends are already occupied. So trying to break through is a real struggle. We had to wait a year for a date. And the date that we're coming out is 1 weekend after Guardians. Now Guardians would be a fast hit, and it's very dangerous being within the parameters of a big movie.
That's a really interesting thing that only movies have to go through these days, right? I mean, it's one of the rare things where people are getting out and going to see something that's been made together in a group. You know, that you're watching media, like it's not a live performance. It's something that's been created, and it's going to press play at 8 p.m. on Friday night, and everybody's going to go to see it. You got to get as many of those people together as you can. It's one of the rare things like that.
Yeah, and it's becoming more polarized. So it means more now. So your opening weekend is about, they know what you're going to make by Thursday evening.
Ay.
It's supposed to be coming out on Friday, and everyone knows what you're going to make by Sunday night or Thursday evening. There's enough clever people out there
Here we go
tapping
now.
into clever boxes, computer says, and they're seldom wrong. Now that never used to be the case. Films will get discovered, platform, start small, go big, that sort of nonsense. Now you just got to come out ball swinging.
And if you don't come out ball swinging, people get very upset and they think that this is a failure, it hasn't lived up to expectations, even if it's a creative success.
Yeah,
Nobody likes it.
it's, well, there's a bit of that. There is an acceptance that the movie's good, movies find their own way, usually in the end anyway. But the financial aspect has become polarized. It's too significant of a component to the equation, because it should, it's an art form, right? At the end of the day, it's entertainment and an art form. Somehow you want to unify, reconcile that. So, because they're essentially different. Reconcile those, put it in a nice little package. So you put in a pill with a sweet wrapper around it, and then you've got both. And then you should be happy. You should have the substance, and you should have the flavor. But now the focus is all on the flavor and not on the substance, and that's result orientated. So your movie comes out, they go, "What do you make?"
Right.
So, slow down, son. What's the movie like? The question, first of all, should be, what's the movie like, rather than what did it make? And it's become too competitive and too comparative financially. And I love a dollar bill, and I like things that are successful. but it has to be secondary to what's primary. And primary is what's it like creatively.
Well, a film like, not to shit on it, but Fast and the Furious, all I heard about was how much money it made. That's all you hear. It's like the big story. The big Fast and the Furious opening box office, hundreds of millions of dollars. All you see is like, it's gonna make $1 billion. Why do you give a fuck? Why does anybody who's watching that give a fuck? You're not gonna get any of that money. Why is it so appealing that this movie has made $1 billion?
Because it's comparative and it's competitive.
Yeah,
and
but
it's
why to people in the audience?
because it's voyeuristic.
Yeah,
So you can, it's like spectator sport. Who's the winner?
right.
You don't, do you really care about how they won? You just care about the fact that they did win.
Or like a Floyd Mayweather, you want to find out how much money he made. He made $200 million that fight. Woo! People get excited about it. It's an extra element.
Yeah. There is a sort of vicarious life that people can have through sports stars, celebrities, and success. If they feel somehow related to, or they were on the opening weekend, or they are invested in, then if it's successful, then somehow, peripherally, I'm successful.
Yeah, that gets weird, right?
It does get weird, yeah.
The business of movies is a very, very strange business because you're a creative business, but you're also a business enterprise. I mean, you're a financial business. And when it's a guy like you, like your movies have a certain flavor. You know, like you start off with Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Like that movie has a flavor to it. And then your other films, like people want to go to see that kind of flavor from your films. Do you feel like pressure in that regard? Like to live up to those expectations or to conform to these ideas that people have of your movies?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Okay, it depends on what mood you catch me in.
Right.
I like what I do, and I'm going to do it anyway. I just like it very much when people pay me to do it and give me the money to go and do it. So I don't mind the financial aspect of it. I don't mind films having to compete. What I'm after is a reconciliation. And as I say, the primary component should be on the quality of the work. That should be what's primary. But I don't grudge films being successful. I like them to be successful. I like the competitive element. But sometimes when you're talking with executives, you realise, mate, your priorities are on the wrong thing here. In the end, it is a creative medium, and that is what has to be primary.
Do they get in the way of a guy like you, though? Like, I would imagine a guy like you, they give you a certain amount of leeway.
They give you all the leeway.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And my experience with students has been very positive, and they try to encourage your, hopefully what is your individual idiosyncrasies. They want you to put your imprint upon the work, and they've been nothing but encouraging in that sense. But, you know, people portray their agendas whilst, you know, you're in light conversation, or they portray their priorities.
Right.
So you want to trust a man because he's a man of substance and to a degree independence. So he's not looking to me to find himself through me. So you're not asking me to tell me you who you are. And that's the ongoing battle of life, right? We're all asking other people to tell us who we are.
Right.
And independence from that is a man that can be trusted. I don't want anything from you. And thereby I can be kind to you because I don't need to manipulate you. You're no longer a crutch.
Right. So it's got to be very difficult when you're in business with someone like that, especially like an executive, some slick character in a fine suit to find out exactly what his real motives really are.
They're never in fine suits.
Never? How
Never.
do they dress?
In appalling suits.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, business does never encourage fine suits.
No pocket squares?
Occasionally you find a token pocket square, but you can tell that heart's not in it. The wife stuck it in there because she saw someone on TV that had a bit of razzle dazzle about them. And they thought, oh, I quite fancy my old man. And then they just stick it in, the old man's a bit embarrassed about it and tries to squeeze it out of the way. Suits are a thing. The death of the suit, it was the death of the suit, was the prosaic attitude toward, I'm going nowhere. I've got my wearer's name.
Yeah.
I won't go to time, and I don't want to stick out.
That's how I feel.
But that's what's happened. We've been brainwashed to not dress like gentlemen.
But I see a guy like you and I say, that's appealing. Like, look how you're dressed. And you're in a conservative suit. This is a nice suit. Like, I'm sure you could wear any suit you wanted, but you chose a shirt that has a certain look to it.
Yeah, I have spent some time arsing around with this, Joe, but a bit like the same reason that we spent time arsing around with the old pocket square. I remember thinking how much I found the suit repugnant, and I became angry that the suit had been robbed from us. And so I had to create an alibi, a way in, to understand why it is that
Yeah.
I'd like to see. This was the magic of Ralph Lauren. The magic of Ralph Lauren, nice Jewish boy from New York called Lipschitz, created.
We all have fun. We all have fun.
There's a wonderful expression that
We all
people
have
think
fun.
is British. And Ralph Lauren created this great empire and resold the waspy world back to the waspy world. Oh, you actually not to the waspy world, because in England there was a sort of resentment about Savile Row traditional tailoring because it had been robbed from them. The officers had come along, the number crunchers had come along, and there was no creativity in the suit. A suit needs to be created. The person that puts it on can't be putting it on because he's told to put it on. He's got to want to put it on. So what Ralph did is he fashioned up this sort of quasi-New England world and he took on a trope, he took on a cliche, and refashioned that cliche to give it a new sense of life, a new sense of breadth. He put black people in the suits where traditionally it was just the white man's suit. He made it feel new, he gave it a take. So what he did is he tipped his hat at the old world, but also tipped his hat at the new world. And it allowed wasps to find their way back into the world with an eloquent narrative.
Yeah, well, what the fuck can you do,
I'm
right?
getting fascinated by the way you
What
write this,
the
because for you it's important that the
No,
person
like-
want to wear the suit. And I have a feeling that that's symbolic of how you feel about life itself. Like the person has to want to be doing what they're doing. They have to want to wear that suit. It has to be an authentic gesture.
Do you know a book called Extreme Ownership, written by a couple of Navy SEALs?
That's Jocko Willink, right? No, that's
I think it is.
Is it? Is
Yeah.
it Jocko's book? Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
I've had Jocko on the show a bunch of times.
An important book.
Well, I've met him on once before. When we're talking about a bunch of times.
Right.
Not once, but
This is one book.
yes.
Right. Now, there's lots of books that I picked up in this thing, but they were very eloquent about it. If you don't own something, you're not the boss. You have to take full responsibility for everything that you do. Why be subservient? You must be the master of your own kingdom.
I feel you. Makes a lot of sense.
You've got to own that you can't just walk into things with your eyes half open. You'll walk into things with your eyes fully open. You've got to know what you're getting into. You have to take possession of your life.
Is this a thought process that you have to constantly reaffirm? or is this
Yes,
something that
it's
you-
exactly that. It's exactly that. You drift on this point,
Right.
and it is whatever form of meditation or mantra that you decide to espouse. There needs to be some period in your day where you remember that there's a world out there trying to tell you who you are, and there's a world in here that's trying to tell you who you are. Now, where do you want to put your eggs? Because the world outside is very noisy and very tempting, and it has all the razzmatazz, it has all the tinsel and all the glitter. It's got all the toys. But that's because you don't think you're enough in the first place. You don't think you're enough in the first place. The whole idea of the world to sell you stuff is, first of all, they have to make you feel bad about yourself, less than in some way. And I don't resent this system, by the way, it is the system. But what's the expression? Don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate the game. Love the game because you're in it, man. So own the game, accept the rules, and move on into the rules. So the world will try and tell you who you are, and you have to tell yourself who you are. And there's this ongoing battle, and somehow there needs to be a reconciliation between the two. But in the end, you've got to have all the eggs in your basket.
There's also an ongoing internal battle, though, isn't there? There's the you that you want people to think you are, and there's the you who you are, and trying to figure out, like, how do I figure out who I am? Like, do I have a correct assumption of how the people are perceiving me and how I actually am objectively, or am I bullshitting the world with this suit and pocket square?
Yeah, I would say it's exactly the scenario that we're talking about. There's essentially only two worlds. There's the inner world of energy and there's the outer world of energy. There's two identities, one's real, one's false. The external world is I'm asking you to tell me who I am. That's what we're all playing at. As soon as you start playing that game, you run into all sorts of trouble, call it the ego, call it whatever you want to call it. But that's the dynamic that we're in. And somehow we have to give ourselves enough confidence to reassure ourselves that we are enough. However, I enter the game because I've got to move on in the world, I've got to crack on in the world, and I know there's loads of temptations that come along the way. So I will own the suit. I'm going to wear the suit, but I'm going to own the suit. Now, I don't mean by paying for it, I mean by owning it. It's now my suit. It's my idea to put on this suit. I have to personalize it in some way. I have to understand the
Can you
narrative
imagine?
that allows me to own that suit. And thereby, I've got my suit of armor, I come out into the world. And guess what? I'm having a good time because I'm owning the suit.
Now, this is a very rock solid philosophy. Is this something you've ever written down?
It's what the essence of narrative. I'm a storyteller. The essence of narrative is only about this dynamic. There is nothing else in a story other than this dynamic.
So the struggle between other people's perceptions and your own wants and desires and who you truly are, your significant real self.
That's it. That's all there is. You tell me a story that we engaged in that's famous, that's not about this journey. I'll give you an example. The Prodigal Son. Parable, Christian, seems religious, doesn't really make much sense. You know the story?
Sure, but why don't you lay it out?
So there's a father. He has two sons, older son and younger son. And he says to them, who wants to spend their inheritance? The younger son says, me, Dad, I'll go and spend it. And the younger son takes all the dough and he runs off and sniffs coke off strippers' tits for a number of years until he realizes this is getting pretty boring and I'm in a lot of trouble. He ends up throwing food to pigs. That's his job. And he can't even eat the food that he gives to the pigs. At which point he says, Dad, will you turn me back? Dad then goes to, they don't meet. This somehow happens, not through telephones, it just happens. At which point Dad goes to the fatty calf, says, kill the fatty calf. Older son says, oh, Dad, what's going on? I've stayed with you since the beginning. I've been loyal to you. And I hear the stories of my younger brother coming back, who's been sniffing coke off strippers' tits for the last God knows how many years. And you're prepared to kill the fatty calf. What's DSP, Dad? I want to know the story. He says, you're all right, son, don't worry about that. You take a look aside, step to the side, you're always good with me, you're a good boy. At which point he goes out to meet the prodigal son. The ways of son returns. He says, you were lost and found. That's the end of the story. It's quite hard to make sense of that in a literal sense. You go, oh, Dad was a bit unfair, and he should be kind to the oldest son because he never ran off and did anything. But the essence of the story is that you are the father. You are enough. Your older son is your intellect. He says, oh, Dad, this, Dad, that. He's trying to reconcile, make sense of a prosaic and material world. The younger son, being the wild, feral entity that he is, wants to go out in the world and find out what it's all about. So his recklessness and sense of adventure, he finds that he can't accept himself. So he has to return to himself. And at which point, he has to accept who he is. At which point, the intellect is left out of the equation pretty much as the older brother, because he can't understand the significance of the journey of the wasteful brother. In the end, you have to leave yourself to understand the value of yourself. You have to lose stuff before you realize that all the stuff that you're losing is ephemeral and transitory. It's not yours. You're enough. You're always enough. But you've got to somehow prostitute yourself before you realize your own value. That is the essence of all stories.
That's deep, Guy Ritchie. Is that something you think about all the time? Or is this like a cemented philosophy?
So, King Arthur, the story you just made. A man is a king, has a son. The son, the father runs into a bit of aggro. The son jumps into a little boat little skillet, and he's not skillet. That's what you cook your chopped on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Skiff, little skiff. The skiff takes off down the river, gets found by prostitutes. He's brought up in a brothel. He understands the ways of the street. He becomes a king on the street. He works his way up the different ladders, and then he pulls a sword from stone.
Oh
At a certain point in his life, so the evolution, and then from there he goes on to be the king a little bit. And tussle all the way, lots of wrestling matches. In the end, he fights down his demons and becomes the king. So what's the significance of this narrative? Every man in himself is aristocratic. That he is his own king. He takes a sojourn into the material world, has to climb up all the different rungs on the ladder, and ultimately has to return to himself. The significance of the extraction from the sword from the stone is the stone is the material world. The material world seems all solid because it controls you whilst you're projecting your sense of identity upon it. The extraction of the stone is taking back your own authority, your own divinity, your own authority, your own identity, whatever it is that you're going to call it, your own power. You're no longer looking for a sense of self outside yourself. And then you have to face the demons that you created in your history by facing them and fighting them and owning them. You put them in the face of who you are, and that's a wrestling match. You have to take away all these crutches, and that's all that we struggle from in life, is taking away our crutches. Oh, please tell me who I am. Oh, please give me a bit more money so other people think I'm clever. Oh, then I don't ask how people think I'm clever. You've got to take away all these crutches and stand as the man that you are, and you're liberated from your whole thing. That is the story. It's not just the story of the art, it's the story of the whole narrative.
A happy Saturday, everyone.
They're just going to get an entertaining story. They're just going to see a bunch of cool
That's
stuff.
the,
So they can play out. But this is fascinating that you're operating so many levels underneath it.
That's the complete core conditioning from award-winning male talent, award-winning actor, performer, director, writer, producer. Gosh, if there's anything I produce in this world, it's a lot of shoelace loads. God bless America. God bless Ireland. Huh? Okay, so like me here, love me everywhere else, and I will see you again tomorrow. I love you tomorrow. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following. And yeah, check out my latest release. It's out there on the platforms whose names I can't mention because it's life. We continue. The empire endures. Let's do this. Let's do this. Thank you. Let's do this. Thank you very much. Twitch, God bless you. Here we go. And now VIP, super VIP over here. YouTube. Thank you, everybody. Cash App, Venmo, always welcome. Thank you for making it this far. Everybody in the future, thank you for everybody that's watching this right now live. Okay? Get out there, get outside. I'm going to go take a walk by the beach. Be good.